Hello everyone, it's Geneviève Borne speaking to you from the offices of Moment Factory, the brand new offices because the company moved not too long ago. So I'm meeting today with the co-founder and creative director of the company, Sakchin Bessette, and together we'll talk about the 15th anniversary of Moment Factory and also the future projects and how you could also work with Moment Factory. Hello Sakchin.
Hi Geneviève, welcome to our new studio, our new space. Nice to have you here.
Thank you, it's very, very beautiful. So tell me, why was it necessary for you to move in new places?
Well, we spent about 15 years in the other studio. We started off with about 200 square feet and ended up with about 40,000 square feet. So we decided it was time to move on and to have more toys in our toolbox. So we built a studio that has 2 floors, like rehearsal space where we can actually test a lot more bigger projects and more technology. And split up also in the other studio we had multiple floors and teams were split up. We'd rather have everyone on the same floor to create different dynamics between groups and teams, and we think that ergonomy of like exchanges of people is very important. So it's a lot of infrastructure that we have here, like air conditioning is also very useful.
Okay.
In the summer, but yeah. Just a lot of, it's really an upgrade in multiple different things. But we're very excited to be here. It was a lot of work to think about how we wanted to design the studio and why and what and how things are working. And the brief to the architects was really create us a canvas. So we don't want you to make architectural statements. It's not for you guys to make all this. What we want is like white walls and a base canvas so that the artists within the studio can actually come and do the art and the decorations and the flavors and the textures into the studio. So hopefully that's going to be an infinite process where people can really participate to do murals or dividers or conference rooms and decorate the studio to give it life that's actually useful and productive. You know.
So let's explain what Moment Factory does. I mean, you've been doing this for the last 15 years, and we've heard about your great accomplishments, whether during live concerts or permanent installations. But explain to us what you do exactly.
Moment Factory is a new media art and entertainment studio. So we design multimedia shows and destinations. So whether it's rock shows or permanent installations or it spans with brands as clients or cities as clients or rock stars as clients. But it's a really big variety of markets. But basically what we do is we bring multimedia experiences to life.
Okay, so who works here? Like, what are the jobs, the professions here?
It's a good question. It's really a multidisciplinary studio. So we have graphic designers, show designers, scenograph, which is like set designers, lighting designers, 3D people. We have engineers, coders. So people come from multiple different types of industries, whether it's video game industry, theater industry, engineering industry, or the VFX industry, the design industry. So it really varies a lot. And I think that's what makes the studio quite unique, is the capacity to mix all these people together from different disciplines and find new types of outcomes for these crazy ideas or potentials. Yeah.
What about you? What is your background?
I'm quite self-taught. I studied photography and then I started VJing, and then when we were VJing in the 90s and the electronic music revolution, we were like promoting raves and clubs and after-hour parties, and we were VJing in these things. I started out doing slide projections in these shows, in these environments. So you had like slides and old school 16mm films before the digital mediums came out. So then DV came out, and like it was possible to edit on laptops and edit in different contexts. So you could shoot in the day and then edit at night and then show it, at VJing. So we would take our stuff and go into raves and with suitcases of VHS tapes and stuff like that. So then one thing led to another, and we started doing special events, and then started working with Cirque du Soleil on some projects, a lot of their events and stuff. And we started then doing some rock shows and more permanent installations. So things grew from, I guess, a lot of hard work and passion and having a lot of fun.
So when you are working on a project, having all these departments, all these people doing different jobs, how do you all gather together? What are the different steps of creation and production until the product is ready?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, let's say that there's a contract, there's a mandate that's been signed. We then move on to defining the objectives and the brief. And once we have that, that's quite clear. There's basically a producer and a director that own the project, and the director really leads all the creative team, and the producer leads the project management team. So the director will work with the set designers and the technical designers and the motion designers, or animators, 3D and graphic people to really sketch out what this whole project is about, and to build the story, to create costumes, or to create video content, or design the lighting. So once all this is done, they get into what we call, the design phase, where they get really much more precise on what it's going to look like aesthetically and get into the fine tuning of all that. Then they hit production phases, which is either they manufacture the sets, if there's a set to be made, or else they start animation if it's a video content. So they get into like the real production. And then it's integration, where all the pieces come together. So where all of the different disciplines kind of merge into on-site, where this project is going to happen. And then is the operations. So depending on the types of projects, we need to also make sure that the operations are very smooth and functional.
You've been doing this for many years, and you've been working on many projects. So how do you push the limits of creativity, find new ideas, and also find new inspirations?
Well, I guess it's the team that makes it all happen, so it's about the amazing people that work with us. That's really the key to the new ideas, and the pushing the limits, and setting standards, and believing in pushing things that you think are maybe not possible, but that people might make possible, and I think it's having a culture of being able to, explore and make mistakes and push forward certain things, and that makes it possible to innovate and push things forward into, new territory or new ideas, mixing things that are not supposed to be mixed together also. So it's really about the team that we've gathered around us that makes all of this possible. It's kind of like a multiplication process, where all of these people from different disciplines make a lot more possible than if we were alone. If I was alone, I could not do 1,000th of what we're doing today. So.
This is the head office of Moment Factory, but you've opened offices in Los Angeles, Paris, London. Mm-hmm. Why is it important for you to open offices elsewhere in the world?
Well, I feel, especially today, that the world is getting smaller, and we need to feel the pulse of the culture of different cities in the world that are in our industry, and that we're curious to learn from. So the idea is to have small satellite offices in multiple countries, in multiple cities. So yeah, we have a small office in Los Angeles, and Paris, and London, and then Asia is going to be our next adventures. It feels like we already have some projects going on there, but it feels it's a completely another culture, another way of working, and we're very curious to start understanding and what we can learn from their culture, and how we can get better at doing what we do through being closer to the whole Asian world. So it seems like it's another world that'll take a long time to get to learn, so might as well start now.
And what are your future projects that you can talk about?
There's a lot of projects happening right now in different markets. For example, we're working on the bridge here in Montreal, the Pont Jean-Cartier. So that's a big project. It's a very complex project with a very complex infrastructure, which is very exciting and fun, because also we're collaborating with a various amounts with a variety of studios in Montreal, so lighting designers and all kinds of different designers in Montreal. So we created this kind of consortium of designers, so that's super fun, so we can exchange with our peers from similar industries, and it's going to be a great collaboration. We're doing a bunch of projects with Royal Caribbean, which is a cruise ship line. So we do shows that basically we design the whole show. So the choreography, the costumes, the storylines. So we really built shows for them on their ships, which is super exciting for us. And then we have a whole bunch of big infrastructure projects that are like in the sport environment and sport centers where they attract a lot of people and they want to keep them entertained in different ways, let's say. And then we're doing a lot of rock shows, and we just finished Muse yesterday. Muse is on tour still, so they were in town yesterday, so that was fun to see them and see the show with the team from Moment Factory. It's nice when the bands come to town and we can share, the work with all of the studio here. I
think people can relate a lot to the rock concerts as we all go see music shows, rock shows. Explain to us how it works precisely when you collaborate with an artist for the music, and how do you start and how do you explore to create the visuals for these shows? Yeah,
it'll depend on the artist. Some of them get really involved, some of them don't get so involved, and they have other people that they work with. But let's say a band like Muse, basically we collaborated with this guy called Oliver. He's a London-based designer that designed the show, and then we came in to design the video content of the show. With Muse, it became a very collaborative, explorational. They're very open-minded, and they want to explore new technologies and new ways to experience for their audiences. So it was a very interesting collaboration. So then we collaborate with the rest of the team in this context, and some shows like the Imagine Dragons shows that we just did, we did the set design and the lighting and the content, so it was like our whole production. So it really varies, and that collaboration is really fun. It's fun to be able to collaborate with a variety of different people in different industries.
And inspired by the music, of course.
Exactly.
That must be fun.
It is, and it's really nice to start understanding like the stories behind the music and really get into like how we can augment the musical experience for the audience.
So a lot of people dream of working at Moment Factory, and we're saying today that it is possible. You are hiring people. So what are the personal qualities that people must have to work here?
I think the most important is people are passionate, and they are able to collaborate, because it's a very collaborative working environment here, and basically all of our studio has been built on passion and really hardworking and getting into being able to learn from other disciplines and being open to trying new things out. One of the challenges that we have sometimes is that people don't really understand who makes this and what kind of people it takes to make our projects. And because this industry is quite new, there's no schools that teach people how to do multimedia experiences like we do. So there's all kinds of people, whether it's motion designers or graphic designers or 3D people, engineers, rocket scientists, we have architects, we have interior designers. We have a rocket science dude that works here. So there's all kinds of different passionate people. Often what I look for is basically people that do also stuff on their own. So sometimes it's an animator that he's a musician also on the side. So that for me is very interesting. Then people that have their own passions, and that shows that people are really interested in stuff, and that they're open-minded, and they're not only doing one thing.
Your motto is "We do it in public." What does it stand for?
What we do in public is basically bringing people together in the public space. So we feel that there's a lot of amazing companies that do great personal devices and great, customized games or customized entertainment for each specific individual. And what we want to do is create group experiences in the public realm. So whether it's rock shows or public spaces, we want to create entertainment that's has enough value for people to leave their amazing home theater or amazing game on their computer, so that they have a real strong enough experience to leave their house and go in the public space or to a rock show. And that's what we do. We really focus on that. We find that it's an important thing, because in 50 years, you can imagine there's no real reason to leave your house anymore. You have a great social life alone at home.
Yeah. No, but you create magic.
Yes.
Yes.
That's how we do. We create magic so that people come.
Yeah, come together and
new experiences.
Thank you very much.
Great, thank you.
Thank you for your time. Congratulations for these new offices.
Great, thanks.
So thank you very much for watching, and remember, you can apply and work at Moment Factory. So go on momentfactory.com to apply and also to be aware of all the new projects. Thank you.